It's time for Damn Good Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Shelby Clement. From corporate executive to CEO to entrepreneur and the founder of Damn Good Marketing Live. This podcast is all about digital marketing, building a business you love, and creating a brand that's authentic to who you are. So if you're ready for honest, raw marketing conversations that you will not find anywhere else, let's freaking get it. Hey friends, real quick, if you are feeling stuck with your content right now, like you're posting but no one's buying, I want you to take a minute, grab the link in the show notes for your free seat for our upcoming live training from invisible to in demand. I'm breaking down the exact organic strategy that I use inside of my agency that's helped over 300 businesses go from invisible to fully booked without paid ads. It's happening live on Zoom, and trust me, you do not want to miss this. Save your seat in the link in the show notes below, and let's finally make your content convert. Here we go. I am ready to dive in today. Today is all about the story of Shelby Clement Marketing and how it was evolved, how it came about, all the goodness. Yesterday, Elena and I spent all day in Past Christian really going over SCM. And as I was like sitting there, guys, I was thinking, and as I was driving home, actually, I was thinking, because yesterday during it, like I love these sticky notes that you can get from Amazon and you put it all over your wall. And we were drawing quite literally everything out. For example, we made an art chart because now we have 12 employees. By employees, I have one full-timer and a lot of contractors, and we actually have 4. We just hired our 5th one overseas. And as I'm like sitting there looking at, and we go over the customer journey, and we're going over everybody's job title, and we're going over what we're changing, and we're setting freaking amazing and scary but really good goals. I'm sitting there and I'm thinking like, oh my God, I'm scared. And like I had fear come over my body. And as I'm sitting there freaking out a little bit internally, I'm thinking like, can I do this? Can we actually do this? And as I'm driving home last night, a flip switched in my head, and it wasn't like, can you do this? It was more like, this is what you've done in the past 4 years. And a lot of times I have these conversations with people and they don't take the time to look back on what they've accomplished, what they've achieved, and how far they've come. Because a lot of times what we do is we look to the future, and we are like, oh my God, how can we accomplish XYZ? But we didn't give ourselves enough credit for what we've done this far. And to think about how I started Shelby Clement Marketing because I thought it was going to be a side hustle. And in my guest room of my home in Thibodeau upstairs, and having to sit, I remember telling Elena yesterday, I was so cheap and I was so scared in 2021 to invest in anything. And I remember Metricool being $1,400 for the year, and we had 10 clients, and it was just me. I didn't have the intern yet. And Metricool, if you don't know what that is, it's a scheduling app. So after I quit my job, I'd get up at 5 a.m. I would sit on our leather couch in the living room before I started working out, and I would manually post 10 different clients' content on at least 2 platforms each. So it was like copy paste. Like now it's easier to do it because I can do everything from my computer because it's a Mac and it's integrated and whatever. But I was doing everything from my phone, and it was just like, to see how far I've come in 4 years is wild. And to see how far this company has come in 4 years, and like sitting back and saying, holy crap, this was just a dream. And it was honestly just a side hustle that turned into a dream. And as I tell my story in a minute, and I just pray that when I post about these things on social media, or I share this with you guys on the podcast or at my speaking events or whatever it is, that I inspire just one person to trust themselves, to trust your gut, to trust the risks that you're taking, because it is probably the most challenging thing that I've ever done, because you have such high highs and low lows. And even though you're sitting in moments of glory and success, as an entrepreneur, you think to yourself, like, how am I going to accomplish my goals next? Or what if I wake up tomorrow and it's all gone? Or, what fires do I have to put out today when I just want to live? I don't know. Like, it's so crazy, the stuff that we come up with. But I know we just talked about this last week. I know we talked about a lot of vulnerability last week, but I want to talk about like the badassery of like what you've done or what you are meant to do that you have yet to do, because either you're scared or there's fear. So I'm hoping that today my story, gets across really well, and it kind of sees like how much I've put into it in the last 4 years. Because sometimes I do get things like, wow, it must be nice to, live the life that you live or whatever, but they're new to my world. They haven't seen everything that I've done. And I know that if you're listening to this probably has resonated with you as well. And I just want you to know that you aren't alone. You're doing this because this is your dream. This is what God has on your heart. This is your purpose. And I'm cheering for you. So I'm super excited to dive in. I did write a little bit of notes because I want to make sure I get it all because it really is my story. And I know that sounds silly because I'd be like, oh, Shelby, just talk. But one, if I just talked, I'd probably ramble. And two, I want to make sure I hit all the good points for you guys so that you feel like, it's relatable or you resonate or, whatever it is that you did. And I just want, some of you that are in between seasons or stuck or questioning everything, wondering if you're crazy or wanting more, that this episode is for you because you aren't crazy. I mean, ultimately, we're all crazy. I can screenshot texts that I've sent to my best girlfriend saying, I feel crazy. Or to my business coach yesterday saying, you know what the hardest thing is right now is building a business. You know what the hardest thing is that she told me is once you hit the 500,000 and up, it's hard to build that aspect. It's that 500,000. And I will say that was year 3, 2. No, it was last year or the year before, but we surpassed it. And I will look back and say, I can see why. It's hard. It's hard when you're a startup. It's hard when you're a small business. It's hard. And now, you set bigger goals. I announced yesterday on my Instagram that my next goal is in 5 years to be a $5 million company. And so that right there is scary. It means growth. It means more employees. It means more risk. It means a lot more stuff. But I'm super excited. It's been put on my heart. So I'm going to dive into my story in this podcast episode. And I just hope that this resonates, guys, with you. So I want to rewind a little bit. It was, 2013. I was 23 years old, still in college, living life. And, for those of you that don't know this, I was in physical therapy. I was going to be a physical therapist. I was an athlete growing up. We played competitive basketball. When I say competitive, we were in AAU. We traveled. We did school sports. I quit my senior year because I was I don't want to do this no more. But I thought that that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to go into physical therapy. I wanted to help people in that type of the world. And then I got a job and I was wait, pause. I don't want to do this forever. I don't love this. And then I went back to get my marketing degree. So I did a victory lap. So truly I was supposed to graduate in the spring of 13, but I graduated in the fall of 13. But hey, I'm not complaining because I got an extra football season. And it's crazy that in June of 2013, I landed a marketing director gig in the oil and gas industry, y'all. Huh? How? And that was my title. And I was not even out of college yet. I was literally going to work 3 days a week, traveling. And then I went to school 2 days a week until I ended up moving to Homa and just traveling for work. Traveling for school. And I want to paint this picture for you because at 23 years old, y'all, I thought I was living the life. I thought everybody thought I was a badass. I thought this is it. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm going to be the CMO one day. I was flying on private jets, never been on a private jet in my entire life. I was sitting at fancy tables with people I wasn't qualified to be sitting with. I was basically the only woman all the time. I was living what everyone would call the dream, y'all, but deep down, y'all, it wasn't. It didn't feel it. I was stuck in a 5-figure job doing way more than I was paid for. No growth, no mentorship, no real seat at the table. And I remember thinking, is this it? Is this really what God has for me? Because I remember being the receptionist at times. I remember at one point driving to New Orleans for data entry. And I remember at one point they hired out a marketing firm to rebrand them. And all I craved in this time was mentorship. And I literally went on interview after interview after interview after interview. And I was at one point, I was begging. I was look, I don't care if I revert back to $35,000 a year and learn from someone and really just have a mentor that's going to pour into me and teach me marketing. Because at this point, I had taught myself everything. I had this one mentor before I had moved to Homa and I was at a law firm in Baton Rouge and she was amazing. And I was there intern, no pay, turned into a part-time employee while I was still in college. And when she was there, she left I think she was there for 3 months when I was there. I learned the most I ever learned. And I remember that to this day. And I still talk to her to this day, but I just craved that mentorship and I wasn't getting it. And so I remember going home and crying to John, being you know what, I guess this is, what God wants. He just wants me to be my mom and go to the 9 to 5. And you know what, I'm going to listen. And I want to take the moment right now and say this, if you've ever felt this, it's because God literally has a different plan for you. And in that moment, I didn't understand it. And I was very depressed. I was anxious. I had a 9-month-old at home. I was pregnant with Willie. I wasn't pregnant with Willie yet, but like I had already gone on interviews and we got pregnant with Willie. So I was like, you know what? This is what God wants me to do. But I want to fast forward to 2020. So like this is 2013. I was living my glory life. Probably about 2018, 2019 is really when the pivot was, when I started really wanting like more. I was getting hungry. But I want to fast forward to 2020. And just before everything shut down, I ended up at Social Media Marketing World. If you don't know what that is, it's a conference yearly in California. I do not remember. I wish to this day I remembered that, like, how I stumbled upon Social Media Marketing Worlds and how I actually got my boss to say yes, because I don't know how that was, because like oil and gas didn't believe in marketing, much less social media. And he said yes by the grace of God. And I remember I was pregnant, newly pregnant with Willie. I was going to California by myself. I've never been to California. And everybody I told that I was going to California, they're like, oh my God, you're going to bring COVID back. Like, I can't believe you're going to California. And we were scared at this time because we didn't know what that was. I remember walking into this like huge convention center, and I met this girl on the internet, and we came fast friends. She was in corporate, I was in corporate, and we both just like were living this dream of like, we know there's more for us to have. And we go to Social Media Marketing World. It was amazing. They have all these different speakers. They have all these different breakout sessions. And we go to dinner the first night. Y'all, I'm newly pregnant. Okay. 4 weeks in, I think 4 to 6 weeks in, I can't remember. And we go to dinner and I wake up in the middle of the night vomiting. And it's like not your normal like pregnancy vomit. Sorry, TMI, but it's like I got food poisoning. And I was like, do I stay in this room and like get through this food poisoning? Or do I get up and go? And this was my opportunity. And I'm thanking God truly that I had the strength to get up and go, because this is my opportunity to see what else is out there and to see, what God has planned for me. And at this point, I truly thought I was staying at the oil and gas company. So I was like, let's just learn. And I remember being sick. And the day I was sick, I walked into to hear the keynote speaker. I had no idea who this person was. And I walk in, it's a black room. Like, it's really dark. By black, I mean like really dark, literally huge. And the stage is lit up. And I see this Latina firecracker walk on stage, and it's Jasmine Star, y'all. And I just like confidently had something click in me. And I thought to myself, like, if she can do it, so can I. Or why can I not? And I came home and I just saw this huge gap in Louisiana, because we were in a room of social media managers. I'm like, what the hell is that? And no one here was teaching small businesses how to market online. Everyone was doing it old school, like radio ads, print, TV, like all the things. And they weren't necessarily utilizing social media here in Louisiana. And I was like, light bulb. And I came home and I told John, this is what I think I want to do. Well, then God had a different plan, because a week later, COVID hit. And I was home, working from home, pregnant with a baby on my hip, holding on to a safe, secure job in oil and gas, newly pregnant with Willie. And instead of quitting cold turkey, I started really just like applying what I learned at that conference to a corporate job. And guess what? It worked. Y'all, I'm telling you, I made our salespeople from our 12 different locations across the United States start sending me videos so I could edit. And it was like updating people on what they were doing, what sales, how I could help, like all those things. And we were putting it on LinkedIn. We were putting it on their personal page. We were putting it on our company page. And I really helped elevate that. And it kind of blew up to a sense of, if this can work for them, then it actually works. And in that moment, we were living in Thibodeau. I was ready to do our kitchen. And I was literally about to have a baby, truly. So I literally sat it out. And then in February of 21, I remember reaching out to a local restaurant. And if you're a social media manager, do not do what I'm about to tell you. Find a contact a different way. But I reached out to this local restaurant via Instagram, and I actually ended up getting the owner. So it worked out really well. And it was probably one of the scariest things I've ever done. And I literally said, hey, do you need help with social media? And she said, yeah, let's meet. And y'all, I did this on the side. No one knew I was doing it. I did tell my very direct boss, and he was so okay with it. But once word got out, one client turned into another. And before I knew it, I was literally going on meetings to local businesses during lunch. And I remember going home to John and saying, like, I think this is it. I think I can take this risk. And like, I'm more of a risky person versus like John. At this point, we both provided for our family. We have 2 very small children. I think at this point, Willie was 6 months old. Henry was 18 months older than that. And so it was very risky, but I remember doing this spreadsheet, because not only did I have a salary at my job, I had insurance, I had a company car, they paid gas. I had a really good situation, but I saw that there was no growth and I knew that there was more. So I took an Excel document out. Don't know how to use Excel. I do. but like basic. And I wrote down what everybody was paying me monthly. And I was like, look, I have to get this many clients in order to leave. And that's really what John had told me, like match your salary and you can leave. And so you know what I did? I matched my salary, but I did it so naive. And I really say this is where God was present, because it was a huge risk that I took, because I had no contracts. I had nothing, but I had the 10 clients that I needed to get me out of the corporate world. So I had to, the Monday before I quit, I went and bought a car, and I was living on a prayer and hoping I didn't fail, because truly I was so naive. And I remember telling my dad, like, oh my God, I have 10 clients, but like, don't worry, we're doing the honor system and no one's signing contracts. Like, Shelby, seriously, get real. And I was like, yeah, this is how business works. And then quickly I realized I needed the contract. But I want y'all to know that, like, in that moment, I was so scared, but I was so excited. I was so driven, but I was so fearful. I was literally at the same, like, all of these things. And I remember somebody telling me, like, Shelby, just work with the people you have to right now. You have to just, like, if you don't like them, you don't mesh, you don't whatever, just work with them, because at one point you will get to a point where you can choose who you work with. So I kept that in the back of my brain through this whole process, because people see the wins that SCM has now, or my brand has now, but they didn't see the sleepless nights, the tears, the friendships I had to let go, the interviews I bombed, the mentors I hired and fired, the constant imposter syndrome. And like hell, like I still have those days, but I keep showing up, and I kept showing up, and I kept trusting God, and I kept going even when it didn't make sense. I was like traveling to the North Shore. I was doing things for free. I was partnering with local law firms and insurance agents where they could literally bring in their teams. I was coming in and pouring into them. I just wanted to get known. I just wanted to build. And, you know, that's exactly what you have to do when you build something. And so it's just been a whirlwind. So I'm like, it's so wild that this podcast episode was planned to be about this. And then yesterday we did that, like, randomly. I called her and I was like, hey, do you have time to go to Pass Christian? And a lot of people were like, why did you go all the way to Mississippi? And I want to tell you this: when you are in business, your mindset is your biggest make or break. And if you don't have the correct mindset when you are building something, creating something, altering something, then you're not going to accomplish what you want. And what I've realized with me is I have children and I have a husband, and it was Friday. And if I'm at my house, even in my office, and I hear them, I'm going to want to go see them. If I'm local and someone needs me, I'm going to be more happy to say yes. Us in Pass Christian, Mississippi might sound crazy, because I did rent a place. I ended up coming home last night. We were able to knock so much out because no one bothered us. And it was a mental thing. So like, if you're like, well, Shelby, you're crazy, like I could easily do that in my office. Well, good for you, because like my mental state needs to escape, but I was able to be home and wake up with my kids and do everything. Like me and Elena literally said, like, oh my God, we were so freaking productive. So here's the actual deal. Like, there are social media marketing agencies quite literally on every single corner. And I pride myself with being luxury. I pride myself with not allowing our girls to, and guys now, we have guys now, to use templates to create. We don't just get on Canva and we don't just create templates. We don't just do the cookie cutter, especially if you're working with our agency strategy. We really listen and we tell you exactly what you need to do and we implement it. There are so many agencies out there that will just charge you $500 to create content, and that's not going to move the needle for you, quite literally, at all. We aren't out there chasing viral trends, guys. Like, I hate a dancing trending video. Like, absolutely hate it, because it doesn't show authenticity. It doesn't show creative. You are literally jumping on a trend because that's what a guru told you to do, hoping to go viral, when in reality, are you even servicing the people that you're going to go viral to? If they follow you, are they going to stay? If they follow you, are they going to stay and never engage with you again, which is going to screw up the algorithm? If they follow you, are you just in it for the vanity metrics instead of the dollar bills? Because I'm in for it for the dollar bills. And I was making six figures with 300 followers when I had reached out to someone and they were making $0 with 70,000 followers when they were asking me how I do it. So do not get caught up in the vanity metrics. I need more followers in order to make more money, because in reality, if you aren't making money with the followers that you have right now, then you have no business getting more followers at all, period, the end. Because at SCM, what I've learned, and I used to be a dancing reel kind of girl. Like, if you scroll all the way back, it's going to take you a minute. But like, if you scroll all the way back, I did that because I didn't know what the hell I was doing at first. And when I realized that when I put a mic in, I have like this really blunt, harsh personality that I'm going to tell you how it is. And like, I'm getting like a little bit more aggressive in my older age, that like, I really don't give a shit. Like, I'm really good at my job. I'm going to tell you what works. And if you want to do it, we can help you. And if you don't, then that's totally fine. But it's just wild to me that people are not utilizing this free aspect of life to market their business. Y'all, marketing is free. But in the same time, you're a business owner and you don't have time to worry about social media. You don't have time to create your graphics. You don't have time to create your videos. You don't have time to worry about what's your strategy, what's your captions. You don't have time to worry about the latest trends. And when I say trends, I'm not necessarily talking about dancing. I'm talking about what type of format, what's working and what's not working, and all of that type of content. You don't have time for that. And people are like, well, I don't have time to be on social media. Well, hire someone. Stop being so cheap. Hire someone. And if you need someone, we're right here. We help small business owners build brand awareness, increase their visibility, utilizing organic social media. I've done it for 4 years. I built my brand for 4 years just utilizing social media organically. When people need what you sell, you want to be the first name that they think of. And if you utilize SCM and what we've developed over the years, because I used to be like, oh, we have like this full service marketing agency. I went from not want to be an agency because people had bad taste in their mouth to being a full-fledged marketing agency, which we do have the legs. Like if you need website and SEO and videography and photography, we have everybody that does that. I just don't house them in-house. And we solely focus, like my internal team solely focuses on organic social media, where I have like the best contractors that we outsource like all those things to. But like at SCM, we focus on strategy. We're going to like build out strategy. We're going to build out your content. We do social media management where you don't even have to get on it. We do video editing. We shoot all of our video with phones. We're going to teach you how to shoot it with yours. We have clients all over the United States. So we don't necessarily have to be by you to actually do your social media. It's real strategy, real freaking growth, and real no fluff, because I know some of you are, in that before season. And I'm telling you this, like if questioning yourself, scared to invest in yourself, scared to post, scared to be seen. Let me tell you something. You don't have a marketing problem. You have a you problem. You're scared to bet on yourself. And I've said this before and I've said it. I'll say it again. And I want you to trust me when I say this is like, I was you. I am you sometimes with other aspects of my business. But I will tell you this one thing. I will always invest in my business. I will invest in good coaches. I will invest in good mentors. I will invest to be in the room. I will speak for free if I know that community is someone that I want to get in front of. Like there's so many things that you have to do and bet on yourself, because you were put on this earth to live out a purpose, and this is it. And so if you are listening to this and you are chasing your dreams and you're looking for something bigger, this is for you. And I want you to really hone in and do that. But if you're a business owner and you are listening to this and you are ready to stop guessing, stop playing small, and market your business like a damn boss and a CEO, I want you to DM me right now the word discovery. We have free discovery calls. They're 30 minutes. We have a real conversation because I look at your content. I look at everything. I tell you what you're needing, what is working, what is not working. I'm very honest, and I would love to help you. Our team would love to help you. And yeah, I hope you loved this episode. It was very raw, real. And as I'm thinking back to it, I don't even know what I told y'all, but that's why I do what I do, because I literally just talk and I'm authentic. But I just want y'all to know that when you're envying someone that you see on the internet, I want you to understand that there was hard work before they got to where they are, or before they got to where they see you. There were sleepless nights, tears, all of those things. So keep going, keep striving, and ultimately your goal should be to inspire one person or to solve a problem for one person instead of a million. So I hope you had a great freaking amazing day or week so far. It's Wednesday, and you continue to have a great, awesome day. So thanks for tuning in. If you love this episode, please like, comment, share with a friend, leave us a review. And until next week, let's freaking get it. And that's a wrap on another episode of Damn Good Marketing Podcast. Thank you all so much for being here. Make sure you comment, review, share it with a friend. Come back next week. And until next time, let's freaking get it.